Right now, AEW has a major problem. And no, it's not storytelling. No, it's not the wrestling. And no, it's not even the way they market their events. Although they could definitely improve on that. But in this video today, we're going to focus on what I believe to be at the core of a lot of the issues facing AEW, and that is Tony Khan. And before you guys get into it, no, this is not about Tony Khan as a booker. This is not about Tony Khan as the promoter. This is not about Tony Khan even as a person. This is about Tony Khan as the face of AEW. And some of you out there might be like, wait, what do you mean Tony Khan is the face of AEW? They have a lot of stars like Will Ospreay, Tony Storm, Kenny Omega. And to that I say, yeah, they do. But at the end of the day, Tony Khan, ever since he established AEW back in 2019, has, I believe, unintentionally positioned himself to be the face of the brand. What you think about when you think All Elite Wrestling. And I believe that that has hurt AEW in so many ways than we can all think about. But you don't have to think about it because I'm going to tell you right here in this video. I'm Big Ohm for Real Take Wrestling. Be sure to smash that thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Let's dive right in. I'll get this out of the way right now. This is not a bashing Tony Khan video. I think that Tony Khan and his presence in pro wrestling in large part has been a positive. He helped financially back the biggest alternative to WWE ever since WCW closed back in 2001. And a byproduct of that has been more wrestlers get paid, more wrestlers get prime time television exposure, and of course, more wrestlers and wrestling fans get to see wrestling done in a different and cooler way. And I think that that is a net positive. But one of the things that Tony has been adamant about is that AEW is where the best wrestle. This is where you see the biggest and best stars in professional wrestling. This is where you see them own their craft in a way they can't elsewhere. And that is the main attraction of the product. And to be honest, I agree with that, but right now it's facing a major issue. Back when AEW started, Tony Khan was very adamant about not wanting to play an on-screen character, not even wanting to be an on-screen figure, not even trying to have any TV time at all. And the reason he gave for this made a lot of sense. He did not want to be viewed as the main figure, much like Vince McMahon was in the heyday of WWE when it was revealed that he was the owner, much like right now WWE is dealing with the Triple H-ification of the WWE product and how Triple H has to be on every poster talking about how he's the game. I hate that. That is corny to me. Sorry guys. I know. But the point is, Tony never wanted to be the face of the product. And I wholeheartedly believe that he has been very sincere about that. I don't think that Tony Khan had any intention of being associated with AEW beyond the fact that he was the booker. But I think a byproduct of him being the booker and the way that fans kind of view wrestling, it was always going to be the case that certain wrestling fans would bring up Tony or view Tony as the guy in the pecking order and automatically associate him with the company in their minds. And that much was to be expected. I think there's only so much you can hide, especially in a day where wrestling is known to everyone. Everyone knows the backstage ongoings of the product. But where the line kind of gets blurred is exposing yourself on TV to the audience and putting yourself in the place where you are viewed as the top guy. And this is where I think AEW actually went back on that original promise that Tony made, because we saw slowly but surely throughout 2021 into 2022 in vignettes and in-ring promos, Tony Khan became a figure backstage and eventually on screen, even doing a promo and cutting a promo against WWE President Nick Khan at one point, fully in character, which I thought was pretty funny. And had that been the end of it, well, maybe we could have been okay. But over the next couple of years, it was made very clear through the way that Tony Schiavone would discuss things and how he would bring up that Tony Khan has sanctioned this match, Tony Khan has sanctioned X, Y, and Z, and it was so abundantly clear that Tony was in charge on screen that at a certain point it became unignorable, especially when AEW in 2024 did a storyline where the Elite were trying to take over All Elite Wrestling. And in order to get the takeover of All Elite Wrestling to be a success, you have to take out the head guy, and in this case, it was Tony Khan. And through all of this, what happened is a lot of people, and I think the vast majority of people, tend to view Tony Khan as the face of AEW. If you go through and look at a lot of YouTube videos when they're talking about AEW generally, it's not putting Kenny Omega's face in the thumbnail. It's not putting the face of other stars in the thumbnail. More often than not, you will see Tony Khan as that figure. And Tony Khan is also someone who, for content creators, it's pretty easy for them to lean into him, both positively and negatively, because negatively, of course, Tony is a billionaire. People don't like billionaires. Tony Khan is also a very powerful guy whose booking tends to be very polarizing, and people, for whatever reason, view him in that light. But you also have the positive views of Tony, that he's a nice guy generally, that he comes across as genuine in interviews, although I will say I am getting kind of sick of Tony Khan giving the old hello on Wednesday night, where the best wrestle on TBS, and just promoting the hell out of it. I understand that's what he's supposed to do, but it is a little annoying, TK. But anyway, I think in the larger cultural zeitgeist, Tony has unintentionally positioned himself to be the face. And at this point, I think it's unignorable, because Tony Khan's Twitter right now is where we tend to see the news of big matches broken. Tony Khan's Twitter right now is basically a secondary version of AEW's main Twitter account. That is where big announcements are made. That's where a lot of the promotion is done. And from a promotional perspective, I understand that, but it even doubles down this idea that Tony is the face of the product. And my larger critique here is, when you have a guy who is a non-wrestler as the face of your product, it waters down what your company is actually about. All due respect to Tony Khan, AEW is not about Tony Khan. All due respect to Tony Khan, AEW is not about him as a person, him as a human, even him as a booker. It is about wrestling. It is about telling storylines. It is about having a place where wrestlers and wrestling fans can all come together and view a great product. All of which is true, but one of the things weighing it down is the polarization that comes with a figure like Tony Khan and what he has become for AEW. In that way, I think he's a bit of a crutch for them. Very similarly to how Triple H right now, I believe, is a crutch for WWE. They just did this massive teaser, WWE did, and in the end, it was revealed that it was just Triple H, Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, and a bunch of other dudes around a poker table. Are you ready for WrestleMania 42? And, like, Triple H is the star of the show in every single way for every single WWE event. So I think that obviously is like a lot more extreme version of it, and I think it's a little bit different because Triple H is, or at least was, a competitor at one point. But for Tony Khan, who is not a competitor, who doesn't have that history, I think it's even more ludicrous to have him positioned as the face. And I think there's certainly ways that AEW can help change that. I think Will Ospreay is very obviously a guy that they are building up to be their big star. And I think that one of the things that they could do moving forward is, instead of having Tony Khan do these press conferences, do these press calls, all of which I understand are important and a part of things, but one of the best things that Triple H does is he doesn't do a lot of traditional wrestling press. He doesn't do numerous interviews. And I understand it's different because Triple H is in a very different position, and WWE, quite frankly, is much bigger than AEW is. But I think the people who should be doing the interviews with wrestling media, with non-traditional media, whoever, it should be the wrestlers. It should be telling the stories of awesome wrestlers like Swerve Strickland, like Tony Storm, like Chris Statlander, like Willow Nightingale, like Mercedes Moné. Let your biggest stars be the main drawing points of the show. Let them be the ones who get the quotes that get aggregated, that people read, that people talk about, that dominate the discourse of your show. Because right now, a lot, and I would say most of that space is being taken up by Tony Khan quotes. And to me, that driving the discourse over the wrestling is a huge problem for AEW. And I know many of you are probably going to say, I don't like this. I don't like the way you're speaking. Well, the best part about this is you can let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I want to hear from you guys. Also, if you guys want to get access to cool videos like this and exclusive access to videos that have not been released yet, here's what you do. You hit that join button. You become a member for as little as $5 a month. You can join an awesome community of members that we have that are supporting the show, but also getting access to a bunch of cool perks, getting videos first and getting videos in abundance fast and furious. So go check that out as well. Until next time, I'm Big Ohm for Real Take Wrestling. Be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real.